Yesterday we were talking about how not being able to practice the restraint of physical, verbal, mental behaviors, and not being able to practice the restraint of the faculties of eye, ear, and so on, so as not to allow these negative tendencies to arise in your stream of consciousness. Then if you leave the mind uncontrolled as it is, leave it as it is, then you will not be able to overcome unwholesomeness, akusalas. So, and your mind will become out of control, and there's bound to be immoral deeds by body, speech and mind, so that your behaviors will become gross, despicable and uncultivated. If, however, you practice a restraint of physical, verbal, mental behaviors, and exercise, empower your energies, so as not to allow these impurities to enter your stream of consciousness, with the practice of Satipatthana, which has the property of protection. Kusala, unwholesome deeds, kilesas will not enter. Kilesa diseases will not happen to you. There will be only kusala happening in you, so that you become pure and cultivated. At that time, you can enhance your power of faith and other wholesome deeds, so that they will arise automatically. They become powerful. All the energies will become powerful. Some say at this moment, maybe mention here, that some say that mind is pure as it is, and you don't need to do anything. That's what the opinion held by some people. But that is a wrong view, wrong perception. If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Not knowing how to abstain from unwholesome deeds, only unwholesome things will happen. So that you'll be losing your pure, wholesome states. And they are not aware that if they don't cultivate their mind, they are bound to lose the purity and wholesomeness. So it is very important to practice, to cultivate your physical, verbal, mental behaviors, so that they become pure, so that you won't lose this wholesomeness. If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. No kusala will happen, no wholesomeness will come in. Even you do something, if you don't practice the restraint of your faculties, you again lose purity and wholesomeness. And if you lose purity and wholesomeness, what will happen? You will allow only unwholesomeness to enter your stream of consciousness, which will degrade you, and such is regrettable. For those who view in the wrong way, they cannot walk the path of kusala, wholesomeness, so as not to do wrongdoing by body, speech and mind, so that they become pure and blameless. Well, of course, one can just say, I'll not do anything. You can stay without doing anything. That is your, as you wish. But if you don't do anything, there will be no wholesome deeds, because wholesome deeds have to be done purposely. Even if you don't do anything, unwholesome deeds are bound to happen. Without doing anything, unwholesomeness will happen to you. You're bound to be overwhelmed by unwholesomeness. What is the reason? Because if you're not able to, if you're not practicing restraint of your faculties, if you're not practicing restraint of your behaviors by body, speech and mind, then in respect of agreeable, desirable objects, you are bound to become greedy. this lobha is bound to enter, and this lobha, kilesa, unwholesomeness, negative tendencies will push you, will urge you to do unwholesome things, because greed has entered your stream of consciousness. Once greed comes in, you are bound to do unwholesome deeds. And also, when you encounter undesirable things which disappoint you, then also there's another unwholesome deed, namely anger or ill will can enter a stream of consciousness if you are not able to protect beforehand. So all these things are bound to enter. All these things means unwholesome deeds. If you don't do anything, they will enter automatically, such as the lobha kilesa, dodha, dhamma kilesa. And at times also, not only at times, but can be always, constantly, you will be subject to delusion, not knowing the truth, knowing in the wrong way. All these things are happening all the time. And then there can be pride and conceit. Without you doing anything, you become conceited, which is another unwholesomeness. And this conceit, unwholesome mental state conceit, can also urge you, push you towards unwholesome, akusala deeds, unwholesome deeds. Then also this wrong view, deity. When you hold certain views which are wrong, then this wrong view also will exhort you to do unwholesomeness. So, if you do such things, if you commit such things, you are bound to reach wrongful lower destinies. That means you become degraded in your status. So, even if you do not do anything, as some people say that I'll leave my mind I'll leave my mind as it is, because as it is pure. If you leave the mind as it is, all these unwholesome deeds, the mind will be more bent on unwholesomeness. Even if you don't do anything, even if you leave the mind as it is, unwholesomeness is bound to enter.
မပြည့်စည်နိုင်တဲ့အေးချမ်းတဲ့နေမြေရောက်ဖို့ဆိုတာအဲ့ဒီတွားရလမ်းကြောင်းကိုတော့အကျင့်လမ်းကြောင်းကိုတော့တည်တော့လည်းတည်တာပဲ
There is the path leading to the highest bliss, which can never be destroyed. But if one does not take up the basic practice in order to reach that goal, one will never get there. Though the correct method is there, but one does not know whether it is true or not, and if one walks this path blindly, not with wisdom, then also you will not reach the goal. So, after knowing the correct method, then you walk straight on the path with basic understanding and in a balanced way. If you do that, you are bound to reach that goal of highest bliss. In every aspect, undertaking, there is always one's own private understanding or knowledge gained from literatures or books, and also from one's own experience. Nowadays, a lot of people possess intellectual reasoning and also knowledge from the literatures and books, and also from their thoughts and reasoning. But if they cannot practice, it be fulfilled with actual practice, virtuous conduct, then they will not succeed. There are many in this world. Therefore, the Buddha has given this quality, or Buddha is in possession. One of the qualities of the Buddha is the Vijja Charana Sampano, endowed with virtuous conduct, and wisdom and virtuous conduct, or clear vision and virtuous conduct. So one should be able to possess, although one cannot possess the same as the Buddha, one should be able to possess these two qualities, clear vision and virtuous conduct. That is knowledge and conduct. One should be fulfilled with these two things in a balanced manner. And this possession, this quality of the Buddha as Vijja Charana Sampano, endowment with clear vision and virtuous conduct, is exhorting us to possess these two qualities in our own rights. As to the Buddha's quality of Vijja Charana Sampano, endowed with clear vision and virtuous conduct, as for the clear vision, this is in essence is knowledge or wisdom, and Charana is conduct, the virtuous conduct, basic conduct. Now, as regards this Vijja, the clear vision or wisdom, they are made up of 3 or 8 kinds. Now, as for the first 3 kinds, it is in short given as Buddhiya, that is the initial, the abbreviation for the 3 qualities. Bu means Pava Jnana, knowing the past existences, past deeds. If the Buddha reflects upon the past, he was able to see or knew what had been in the past. That is the first jnana, knowledge. And also the second one, buddhi, is deva chakku, the eye, the eye which can see even minute details. Even the small minute things can be seen. And as for the beings, if they die as a result of the karma, they are reborn in new existences. This also will be seen by the Buddha. Such is known as Deva Chakku. Then the third factor is Buddhiya, Asvaka Jnana. That means there are these things like the soul, coming, oozing out of 6 sense doors. Whenever you see something, hear something, you are all these kilesas, negative states, enter your stream of consciousness. You are subject to unwholesomeness because you see something, either desirable or undesirable. So from all these 6 sense doors, there are things oozing out, unwholesome things oozing out, kilesas or things. So if one is not able to practice the restraint of the faculty of eye, ear, nose and so on, and if one is not able to practice mindfulness in order to prevent or to overcome or eradicate, all the time these negative tendencies are bound to arise in your stream of consciousness. So this knowledge of Arhata Mega knowledge of the Arhata, is known as Asavakya Jnana, by which one has overcome all the things, mental things. In this way, the 3 things, components make up this clear vision, Vijja Jnana. In short, it is in abbreviation, it is known as Buddhi-a. As for the 8 kinds of Vijja, because Vijja has sometimes 3 kinds and also have 8 kinds. And as for the 8 kinds of Vijja, clear vision, first of all we have this insight knowledge. The kind of knowledge which yogis are practicing in order to observe the universal characteristics of psychophysical phenomena as they are being conditioned at the moment of their arising, such is insight knowledge which the yogis are practicing. This is the kind of knowledge which comes first, which the Buddha possessed. Vipassana jnana, insight knowledge. The second one is he has the power of creating another person, a duplicate. He has the power of duplicating himself in many duplicates, one duplicate, duplicate, and so on. He could create many duplicates of himself. And the third one is general power of general activities known as adivida. He can have such powers in general. In general means a wide subject. Now as for the fourth one, Devatho Sota Jnana, being able to hear any voice or noise at any distance. So that is the fourth one. And the fifth one is Chidopariya, the mind reading. He was able to read the minds of other people. And if you add these 5 to the 3 initial ones we've discussed, makes 8 Vijja, 8 clear vision or wisdom. Now after we have discussed these 3 kinds of jnana, knowledge, and 8 kinds of jnana, to possess these things, one must have undertaken the basic practice, without which one cannot possess these 3 or 8 kinds of jnana, wisdom or knowledge. So Buddha himself has undertaken this basic practice, which are 15 in number. So these 15 numbers are the 7 virtuous conduct plus is restraint, virtuous conduct, the restraint of by virtue, guarding the doors of sense faculties, and knowledge of the right amount of eating, and devotion to wakefulness. When you add to 7 virtuous conduct, it makes 11, and there are 4 mundane jhanas of 5 material sphere. So that makes 15 basic conduct, known in Pali as Carana. The virtuous conduct, 7 virtuous conduct, which we have added to make 15 Carana, basic conduct, are, firstly we have Saddha, faith and confidence. Faith and confidence in good and bad deeds, wholesome, unwholesome deeds. That if you do wholesome deeds, you realize good result. If you do unwholesome deed, you will realize unwholesome results. So, faith and confidence in what is right, what is wrong, and what is the right thing to cultivate your physical, verbal, mental behaviors. Such is, and then also, if you do good, you get good result. You must have faith and confidence in the consequences of your actions. And also faith in the existence of the fully enlightened one. There is such an individual as the Buddha. That also needs to be believed. And also the teachings that the Buddha has done, the Dhamma. And then the community of monks who follow the path of the the path laid down by the Buddha and realized the attainment, and also believe in the next existence, future existences. Such is very important. Such kind of faith and confidence is very important. If one have faith and confidence in future existence, one will abstain from doing unwholesome deeds, and one will only do wholesome deeds. If one has no faith in the future existences, or if one does not know what is kusala, what is akusala, then it is more likely that you will commit unwholesome deeds, akusalas. So, if you have faith in the right thing, then it becomes easy for you to abstain from unwholesome deeds and only practice wholesome things which will bring about wholesome results. And even if you don't have faith in Buddha, if you have faith in Dhamma, it is good enough, because so long as the Dhamma is there, that must be the individual who has preached this Dhamma. So it is necessary also to believe in the existence, round of births and rebirths. If one does not believe in future existence, one will think that after this life, when the life breaks up, when the body breaks up and life dies, there is no more. Then what will happen? One will only do whatever is good for this life, and one will not abstain from unwholesome deeds which will lead to unwholesome results in the next life, nor will one perform wholesome deeds in order to give rise to wholesome results in the future existences, because one does not have faith in the life after. So, if one has faith in the existence of future lives, then one will be able to. One will not find it difficult to practice the restraint of physical, verbal, mental behaviors. One will become prepared for the next existence. If not, you are bound to loss. You are bound to suffer loss. So such kind of faith in existence is very important. If one accepts or has faith in the karma and karma result, that unwholesome deeds bring about unwholesome results, and wholesome deeds bring about wholesome results, then one will be mindful, one will be careful to abstain from unwholesome deeds, so that one will not get unwholesome results, and one will have sati or mindfulness, or careful to practice or cultivate wholesome deeds. Just like eating, taking meals or food, sometimes the food is not suitable for your stomach. Sometimes the food is wholesome, sometimes not. If knowing that the unwholesome food is not suitable for you, it will cause you problem, then you abstain from taking such unwholesome food. And knowing that the particular item of food is suitable, then you take it, then you will get good results. So that abstaining from unwholesome food, you become free from harm, and by taking wholesome food, you are bound to get good benefits. So these things are the descendants or the results of faith and confidence. So once you have faith and confidence, there's bound to be mindfulness, sati. Then comes this fear and dread of wrongdoing, knowing that bad begets bad and good begets good. Especially one is very careful about bad deeds, unwholesome deeds which will bring about unwholesome results, one should feel ashamed, one should detest and dread of these unwholesome results. If one does wrong, then the unwholesome deeds are bound to arise, and one should have this fear and shame and dread about this wrongdoing and wrong results. Such is hiri ottappa. Detesting is hiri and dread is ottappa, which is very important. Like taking meals, if you know that such so-and-so item or the item of food is wholesome, good, suitable, then if you take it, you'll be free from harm. So, if it's unsuitable, then you feel ashamed and dreadful, fearful of taking unwholesome deeds, so that you abstain from taking such things. If you take good things, you are bound to get good benefit. So also with the immoral deeds, one should possess this fear and dread, fear and shame and fear of wrongdoing, especially fear and dread, shame and fear of realizing unwholesome results, evil results.
မကောင်းမှုဒုစရိုက်ကံတရားနဲ့သူရဲ့ဆိုးကျိုးတွေဖြစ်ရှင်လည်းပဲရှေ့ရမှာကြောက်ရမှာလည်းပဲသိထားသူဟာမကောင်းမှုတွေကိုရဲရဲရှောင်လာဖို့ဒီစိတ်တရားအဲ့ဒါတတ္တိရဲတယ်ဒီလိုကိစ္စတွေမှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တတ္တိမကြောက်ရဘူးမပြော့ညံ့ရဘူးတင်းနေခိုင်မယ်အသိရေးရှိတယ်မှာကောင်းမှုကုသိုလ်တွေလည်းလုပ်ရရမယ်ကောင်းတာလေးဆိုလုပ်ရရအဲ့တော့မကောင်းမှုကိုရှောင်ရှားရတဲ့တတ္တိနဲ့ကောင်းမှုကိုလုပ်ရတဲ့တတ္တိအဲ့ဒါလေးရှိရတော့ဒါလည်းပဲအခြေခံတရားပဲအသိဉာဏ်ဖြစ်ခြင်းအခြေခံတရားပဲအဲ့ဒါဝိရိယကိုပါတယ်
Knowing in advance that if you do immoral deeds, you are bound to get immoral results, bad result. And if you do good deeds, you are bound to get good results, so that you have knowledge in advance, so that you are free, shame and fear of wrongdoing. Once you have that kind of wholesome states of mind, hiri ottappa, you easily abstain from unwholesome deeds. And you should have that kind of courage, heroic courage. One should not shrink from that. One should not have this lack of courage. One should have full courage to be able to abstain from unwholesome deeds. At the same time, one should have heroic courage to do good deeds. Such things are tantamount to possessing basic wholesome state known as Vijja. Then we have this sutta, learning, a kind of knowledge by learning, by listening, or sometimes you learn from books and literatures, and also sometimes you learn from your own experience. Especially your experience, your general knowledge about these wholesome mental states, sada, sati, virya, samadhi, panya, such is known as sutta, being able to discriminate between good and bad, and have this correct knowledge. And in this way, these things make up the 7 virtuous conduct. The next one is the knowledge of the right amount of eating. One must have that knowledge of the right amount of eating, whether it is suitable or not. When you are taking food, you are not taking for fun, for enjoyment for the sake of enjoyment, but one should take the food with this motive of practice, which will be supportive for your practice. So you are taking food to have enough nutrition in order to support your practice. In this way, you should be able to reflect upon your eating when you are eating. The vows of practice, precepts taken by the devotees. As for the monks, they have their disciplinary rules to be observed. And as for lay people, upasika, lay devotee, woman devotee, man devotee, they have their own precepts to be observed. So that they will be able to practice a restraint of physical and verbal behaviors, so as not to break or weaken them. If you break them, then you become immoral. And even if you don't break and if you just weaken them, also it is not advisable. So you should be able to sustain this moral conduct, so as not to break or weaken them. So that you'll find your physical, verbal, mental behaviors pure and blameless. If you find yourself that you are pure and blameless by physically and verbally, then you become satisfied with yourself. Otherwise not. You will not be satisfied with yourself. If you are not able to sustain it, then you will be blaming yourself. Then you may be subject to be blamed by others. And if you transgress existing laws also, you will be disciplined by authorities. And also, as regards the future destinies, if you break them, your destiny will not be guaranteed. Your future destinies will not be guaranteed. So it is necessary that one should not transgress these moral conduct. Hence, it is very important to sustain this sila. Then we have this Indriya Samvara Sila, that is the guarding the doors of sense faculties, as you see here, these touch and all these sense impressions, so as not to allow these negative tendencies to rise in your stream of consciousness, and to be free from these disease microorganisms in you. Practice the restraint of the faculty of eye, ear, with mindfulness, as we say that guarding yourself with vigilant mindfulness of every arising. And whenever you see, hear, taste, touch, so that there will be no likes and dislikes, or elation or dejection of desirable and undesirable objects. Neither will there be any delusion, ignorance, unknowing, not knowing simply, or not knowing wrongly, not knowing wrongly, so that you are blocking the path to these unwholesome mental states. And such is known as the practice of guarding the doors of sense faculties. Last of all this, there are these 4 jhanas: mundane, fine, material, worldly jhanas, fine material jhanas or fine material sphere, which adds up to, if you add these 4, it makes 15 Carana, basic conduct. So though one may have Vijja, clear vision, if there is no conduct also, one will not be able to serve the purpose. And even if one has the basic conduct, but without Vijja, clear vision, one will not be able to walk the right path. One will be showing the wrong path, or one will be walking the wrong path. So as for the Buddha possessed these 2 things, both knowledge and basic conduct, clear vision and virtuous conduct. So without basic conduct, one will not gain this clear vision or knowledge. So just by reasoning, one will not be able to realize knowledge without any conduct. So one must understand the correct method, then undertake the practice, then only one will come to possess this virtuous clear vision and virtuous conduct, Vijja Carana. So, as for the Buddha, he has this basic conduct. Only with the basic conduct, he was able to possess this clear vision or knowledge. As nowadays people say, some will say that he or she has knowledge without any basis as regards conduct. So only when there is conduct, there can be this knowledge. So remembering, reflecting upon this quality of the Buddha as Vijja Carana Sambandha, endowed man with clear vision and virtuous conduct, may be able to practice basic conduct, understanding that basic conduct is necessary in order to realize knowledge. One should reflect upon these 15 kinds of basic conduct in order to realize Vijja, knowledge.